probably don't realize it, but I've just returned from the United, where I've been making an intensive study of their economical and I feel that it's a great privilege to stand once again on English and beat about the bush until I eventually arrive at a foregone delusion which can do no more nor less than prove to you as British subject, but that there comes a tide in the affairs of which, taken by the bull, by the doings, should eventually overthrow the house of, and thereby proving to the people that every dog has his, and every housemaid has at least 2 afternoons a week to sort of get behind herself and then find out where because I feel that every one of you has something in you. And, of course, if you haven't, it's most, because I feel that in every one of you that there is a stagnant something which is dormant. And that's why I want you to be guided by me and then try and then get something out of your life, especially at a time like the present, when everybody is going around hey-nonning and then hot-chawing and walking up to everybody else and saying, can you take it? Just like that, and then not even waiting for an answer. I don't know, I always say, do unto others, and then vice versa, and never take no from a dancer. Because during a conversation I had with our Prime Minister, Mr. Stanley Mac Ramsbottom, he told me very aptly that prosperity, after all, is just around the thing. But I don't know, it's a long lane that has no necessity. Necessity, after all, is the mother of intuition, which sort of comes to every father at least once in a life, and sort of proves to him that every dark cloud has a silver gold standard. And I don't know, it's better to have lived and lost than never to have paid income tax. An opportunity, gentlemen, knocks at your door once in a nightgown. But I want you to grasp opportunity with your one for free, because I feel that with depression on its way to some less fortunate, that now is the time for the rank and file to fight, tooth and nail and tooth and stand up. Put your backs to your shoulder to thread in Westminster, and take one foot out of the grave and put it on the bottom of the page and then turn over a new leaf. I'm terribly glad you turned over a new leaf, because as I look into your simple faces, I feel simply, and I hope you'll understand why I feel simply when I tell you that I've just driven my mother-in-law over the hill to the poorhouse, as if it wasn't difficult enough without putting a hill in. And actually, we were awfully sorry to see the old girl go. She'd worked very hard to put her children in college, and they, in turn, worked doubly to put her in the instant. And I can see her now, sitting at the head of the table, eating like a horse. Not, of course, that I'm saying anything against the horse. Very, very noble animal, the horse. You get milk from horses. Terribly indirectly, of course. The horse draws the cart that carries the milk that comes from the cow that Jack tried. But apart from that, the government are trying to get these horses off the streets, while other people are allowed to go around left entirely to their... I put it to you, is it the horse's fault that it becomes congested? Even the best brought-up animal, when left standing for any considerable, is liable, because to me, it's the buses that cause because all my people were accomplished horse, absolutely at home in the saddle. I remember my maternal grandmother at 70, they tell me, had a seat that was the envy of the county. My grandfather had a very fine seat too, but he gave it up one day to an old lady in an and he's never been the same man, sort of give and take, Very fine, every other inch a gentleman, and he was very, very lovable character, very much like me in many respects. He never worked, shirked. He was the idol of his family. He'd been idle and awful, and he used to say half-jokingly that he earned his money by the sweat of his brow. Yes, yes, it all comes back to me now. Charming little cottage it was. 52 rooms with congealed plumbing. Very attached to the old place. We'd been attached so many, and outside the house there were fountains playing. 5 of them, all accomplished musicians, and so was my Aunt Melba. They tell me she was a raving lunatic, a beauty who had been the toast of Vienna, but when she got back she was a little crummy, you know, and it was very shortly after her return that she met Alfred and then took him for better or worse. I don't know, I always thought she took him for an awful, you know. However, it wasn't long before she was back in the bosom of the family. And of course, in those days, as you know, bosoms were bosoms, and vast herds of these creatures used to range the western plains of the United in dignity. And yes, I've traveled quite extensive, and as I always say, travel broadens the mind, and I don't know, it's remarks like that that renew your faith in, and so, having made myself quite clear, I should like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and from Mr. Stanley McRam's bottom also.